Danielle, it's just us today. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
We haven't done this in a minute, so excited to be chatting just us. And today we have a great topic near and dear to our hearts. Detox.
Yeah. And kind of what it means to us now, maybe versus what it meant to us. And when we think of detox, how we think about taking care of ourselves and why we do it, how we do it, etc. I'm excited to dig into the details and excited to hear you. I mean, we have all these conversations and we're like, I wish we were recording. And so Today we are.
Yeah. Well, I think I want to start with, you used to be a major dieter. And I think sometimes this concept of detox can fall under dieting, or it can be used as a diet or as a form of a diet too. And so I know that you did a number of detoxes in your dieter days. How were you thinking about detoxing then? And what does detoxing mean to you today?
I think it's exactly what you said, Whit. When I was going through adolescence and all my body image issues, as I think so many people are and have been and still are today, no matter your age. I quickly went from kind of like dieting and following diets like South Beach diet, Atkins diet, to really leaning on detoxes and cleanses like juice cleanse, master cleanse, because it sounded like I was actually trying to take care of myself instead of the opposite. When in reality, it was a cloak for me really punishing myself. And it's not to say necessarily that those things like juice cleanses, etc., are meant to punish you, but the way I was using them, kind of cloaked as a detox, cloaked as something I could pretend that I was taking care of myself, when in reality, I was really hurting myself, both like physically, emotionally, but also metabolically. And so, fast forward 15 years as I kind of went through my reckoning and transformed my relationship to my plate, to food, to my body, and live in a body that I feel really good in now, really powerful. I still turn to cleanses and detoxes, but I think of them now as a vehicle to help my body function better. I think of them not as things to necessarily help me look better, even though that often happens. That's more of like the side effect. It kind of comes back to what we talk about a lot, Whitney, which is, what's your why? And so when it comes to these cleanses, and detox, like our level 2 detox, for me, it's like if I can feel like my body needs a little extra help, or, when we really think about detoxes and cleanses, it's like your body is really naturally doing those things for you. So how can you promote those pathways? How can you nourish and nurture those detoxification and cleansing pathways that you already have and help them work better? Where before it was always like, what can I not eat? How can I eat less? How can I kind of restrict more? And I thought that was what it meant to detox and cleanse, where now I recognize that to do it properly, you need the proper nutrients and enough of them.
Right. And so I think when it comes to detoxing, the first place that I start with and that we start with is our elimination pathways. That you want to make sure that when you're doing a detox and you're starting to pull some of these toxins from your body that are stored in your body out, that they're not going to be reabsorbed later on in your colon. And so I think that that's somewhere that not everybody thinks about first when they think about detoxing, is that we need to be eliminating every day. Like just in itself, doing a daily cleanse elimination means eliminating what is in your body. You eat every day, you should be pooping every day, right? And so cleaning out your body that way.
You should be sweating every day, getting clean water every day, etc. Yeah. And then I think another question we get all the time is like, how often do you think about detoxing? And I think that depends on what your day-to-day life is. You know, we always say, it's like, how often do you think about showering? And it's like, for us now, we eat Sakara every day or follow the Sakara nutrition pillars at least every day. And that means we're keeping our body pretty clean throughout the day, throughout the month, throughout the year. And so when we seek out detoxes and cleanses, it's every once in a while when we can feel like maybe something is off. Or sometimes, honestly, I reach for detoxes when I feel really good and I feel like my body can handle maybe the added stress of what a detox can do. Because, in the added daily stresses of life, like sometimes your body can't get to everything it would like to renew, repair, regenerate, because it's also dealing with life. So a lot of times I look at detoxes as a way to get out of the daily rhythms and stresses of life and let my body focus on things that it couldn't do when it was in its normal rhythm.
Yeah, that's such a good point.
How often do you detox it?
I think it is like what you talk about, what you're just saying right now, where if I'm feeling a bit sluggish in my body, sluggish in my bowel movements, or like I've just been kind of straying a bit far from my regular Sakara day-to-day way of living and need help coming back to that place where I feel really good. That's when I know I need to do a detox and take it that step further, that it takes more than just my daily maintenance. It takes dedicated, clear focus, and a little extra work to get there. And so, it's kind of like what you're saying, where how often do you go to get your teeth cleaned at the dentist? I like to go as often as I would go get a facial. I wash my face and do all of my daily skin creams every day. But then, I'll opt to get a facial on a quarterly basis, or maybe even more often than that. I like to get my teeth cleaned on a quarterly basis too. So I'm brushing my teeth every day, but then going to the dentist for a deep clean on a quarterly basis. And so really that's how I like to do it with my detoxes too. If I'm feeling like my body's in a place where it can handle that additional stress. If I'm feeling like I'm overly stressed, then I need to actually lean in the other direction and just, what I would do for a cold, take care of myself and, rest. But that's something that I recommend with our detox too. I was just talking to one of our clients last night who is on our level two detox currently. And she said she had just come from Pilates the day before. She had played 2 hours of tennis, and later this week was going to try a new personal trainer training session that she heard was really difficult. And I said, well, maybe this isn't exactly the week that you should be doing a level 2 detox, or these might not be the activities that I would suggest doing with our level 2. Like during a detox, what I usually recommend is trying out personal care, modalities that maybe you don't normally, dedicate the time
things,
to.
Right? Like so things that fill your cup, not like
take I was
energy.
Saying, when was the last time that you just took like a long, relaxing bath? Like filled it up with great mineral salts and different essential oils, and maybe even threw in some flower petals. Yeah, read a book. Tried a new meditation practice. Try yoga nidra. Maybe go to a yin yoga practice. Do a really deep stretch session or a stretch class. Like try some of these self-care practices that you don't normally prioritize or value because you're going after the high stress, high activity type of practices.
I think our take here at Sakara on detoxes is similar to our take on workouts, which is when I was like, in my teens and 20s and going through all my yo-yo dieting, it's like I would work out so hard hours a day and Soul Cycle and sweat and high intensive interval training. It's like, I thought that that was the path to a body that I felt like I looked good in. And it's similar with like juice cleanses, like, or extreme diets. Like, I thought that was the answer. And as more research has come out over the past 15 years, and as I personally have become more of an expert in this space, understanding the impact of stress on your biology, once you start to understand what happens when your gut-brain axis is out of whack, meaning you're basically in fight or flight all the time and your vagus nerve is not, aligned properly, and you haven't activated your parasympathetic nervous system. That can be because you're doing tons of workouts. I mean, we have tons of friends who do this still to this day. Wake up at 5, even though they have kids, and get out of the house before the kids wake up, come back and work out, come back, make breakfast, rush. And it's like, if I could help people understand the impact of what that stress does on their biology, like, I just feel like it would go so much farther than if they could turn that effort into nutritive, nourishing practices. And that's really our take on detoxing, you guys, is some people use our signature program as a detox because if you are eating the SAD diet, which is the standard American diet, then our regular nutrition program, our signature nutrition program, is definitely going to be a big shift for you. Even if you're somebody who is used to eating, some level of ultra processed foods every day, that could be chips and crackers and whatever it is, even moving to something that's much more whole food based is going to be a big shift. And then for those of you who are, are used to eating this way and are looking for really like a core reset and to really promote your detoxification pathways, that's what level 2 is about. But it is going to be stressful because no matter what, it's going to be something that you're not used to doing.
It's uncomfortable.
On level 2, where, we eliminate, things like grains and refined sugar, a lot of the things that we already take out of our regular program, but a couple more things. And then we add in things that promote detoxification. So it really is a program that's designed to give your body the nutrients it needs. Because, by the way, all phases of liver detoxification require nutrients, from B vitamins to vitamin C to magnesium. They all require nutrients. And so if you're someone who thinks about detoxing as like stripping away nutrients in order to detox, that's actually not what it is. It's about getting the right nutrients. And, to go back to my analogy of working out, it's like, I've learned so much by, really doubling down on Pilates, taking away hard workouts that left me exhausted. It's like my tissue is better. My tissue has changed because I stopped stressing it out and I started understanding it and like nurturing it and moving it and strengthening it and stretching it instead of just like working it out until it was exhausted. And that's really what this level 2 detox is there to do. So yes, it's probably going to be pretty hard. I mean, it's hard for me and Whit. So, it's going to be hard for you. It's challenging. So if you're up for a challenge, that's great. But it's also a time to double down on exactly what you said, Whit. This is a nurturing, nutrient-rich detox meant to give your cells and your tissues and your body the nutrients it needs to really repair and rejuvenate and get rid of toxins that we've been storing, to lower stress, to help balance hormones, to promote the right kinds of bacteria in our gut. And also how Whitney and I use it is in those 5 days, to not only, do all the things that we tell you to do because it comes with a great detox book and we give you supplements like magnesium, etc., and all of the food, but also to think of other things that you want to do to add to your cup, to fill your cup. So instead of looking at these moments as what can I strip away? What can I not do? I shouldn't drink. I shouldn't. Instead, just focus on what you are going to do.
Mm-hmm.
And can you take a bath every day? Can you take slower mornings? Don't work out.
Can you go to bed early?
Go to bed earlier.
8
maybe
p.m.
Work out that day. Maybe just do some light stretching at home. Maybe elevate your feet. Maybe read a good book. But I think that especially our generation, has really undervalued the ability to rest and relax and deeply like kind of misunderstands how important that is for metabolic health and metabolic function.
Yeah. I'd say our level 2 is challenging, but enjoyable. It's joyful. Like the food is really good. There's all these other little things that you do all throughout your day that just are delicious and bring so much joy. But what you were saying about actually doing less can get you the results you're looking for. I ran into a friend this past weekend and she looks great. And she's like, yeah, everybody's been asking me what I've done to lose weight. But, I get on the scale and I'm exactly the same weight. I've actually lost inflammation. The whole thing, she didn't lose any weight. She lost inflammation. She had been eating more nourishing foods, more plants, taking down her stress levels, like doing some lymphatic drainage. And it showed in her face and her body. Her body wasn't holding on to this stress and being inflamed. So
it's like health looks way sexier than stress. I get asked all the time, like what I do. And I'm like, you guys, I don't work out that much. I do Pilates 1 to 2 times a week. I'm mom, so that's a full-time like marathon. But, it's like, and where all I wanted when I was working out all the time was like, to be able to see my abs in action, to like feel like it wasn't about weight. It was like I wanted to just like look strong and healthy. And I feel like it's exactly that, where I felt like I looked puffy and now it's just like things are leaner. I'm not stressing out my body several times a week,
Yeah, definitely. Well, I think when we're talking about detox, one thing that people would say is you don't really need to do a detox. Your body detoxes on its own.
I mean, you guys, people have been doing detoxes for millennia. It's steeped in like ancient tradition and health modalities and ancient wisdom. Every kind of like from Ayurveda all the way to, Native Americans, like they all have their own approach to cleansing the body. And it's not to say it's like you're not cleansing the body, you're helping your body cleanse itself. So maybe it's just nomenclature and they're upset that we're like calling it a cleanse when really it's you're assisting the body's natural cleansing capabilities. And I think that's something that's really important to understand, which is why you can't just strip everything away. I think there are ways that you take care of yourself every single day. And when you are in a good spot, and or a really bad spot, like you're talking about, you've just been diagnosed with a big disease. I think those are 2 moments where you have a decision and you can go to a very deep kind of nutritional therapy. Like I look at level 2 as like, it's level 2 kind of like nutritional therapy. There are lots of like kind of levels to nutritional therapy as part of these cleanses and detoxes. And certainly level 2, there is emotional, spiritual work to be done. And that's why, Whitney, I know you really talk a lot about making sure people do take that time to take a bath, because you are going to feel things that you have not felt. It is not just a cleansing and detoxing of chemicals of which our bodies are, steeped in from our environment and our food and our water. But there's also a lot of emotional, kind of like psychic baggage and toxins that we are carrying that come out when our body knows it's in kind of like deep clean mode.
Yeah, I usually feel around day 4 and 5 that I can really start to hear my inner voice speak up. That after a few days of just kind of like stripping away some of that noise that, additional food and having our body spend that time to process it, it takes energy and it's a little bit of noise within the body. And so taking some of that out, taking some of the just daily burden on the body out, then frees up some energy, frees up some space, some time for it to do different things. And I find that I start to tune in again. I'm able to hear my voice speak up. I'm able to hear my body. Our bodies are these incredible things that are taking in information around us all the time. Our subconscious mind and our physical bodies taking in information. And if we're so busy all the time in this output mode or in our conscious ego brain all the time, it can be difficult to hear what that subconscious mind or our body intelligence is trying to tell us. And so for me, it can be extremely powerful where I can get major downloads of telling me information and helping me to make important decisions. So that's another time that I like to do detoxes is if I'm feeling stuck in life, like I don't have that strong connection with my gut instinct, or, I don't know what to do in life, or I'm having a hard time making decisions. Just doing the detox, getting back into myself, feeling like me again, that really helps me a lot to make decisions.
And I think that's a good point of like, what kind of results do you see when you do level 2 detox? So you see that emotional release, you see that kind of like relationship to self change. You like feel different, but what exactly kind of do you see in terms of results?
I mean, different people see different results. I think a lot of people actually do come in for the weight loss aspect because that's a great result that many people see. And I mean, when I recently did our level 2, I loved that result too, where it leaned me out a little bit more, where then now my muscles show more and I actually am able to lift more at the gym, heavier weights and things. When my husband did it, when Itai did our level 2 for the first time, he was so worried that he was going to be losing his strength. Like, oh, I'm not eating as much as I normally do. I'm not getting my animal protein in the way that I normally do. And then he showed up at the gym and he was able to do more pull-ups than he was able to do previously. So, it shows up differently for different people in that way. But that, I'd say that brings people in is usually looking for that weight loss, especially if they've hit a plateau with their weight loss. And then the results that I hear from our clients after it is, oh, wow, the energy is through the roof, that they've had more energy than they felt in a decade, that they feel more brain clarity, like their brain is sharp and turned on again. I mean, that they're turned on again. I've also heard about libido turning on again, which is great.
Yeah, there's like this sense of homecoming, right? I hear that a lot, which is, we all know that feeling when we feel kind of like not in touch with ourselves, not kind of like in our most powerful place. And I think people are surprised how quickly 5 days can change your body in your life by making certain choices and really like dedicating the time to level 2 and to lowering your stress and really taking care of yourself, like just how much that can change your body, not just for those 5 days, but for months and years to come. We store these, toxicants from the outside, but we also store toxins, which, are things that our body makes. So there's a difference.
Yeah. Will you explain? You just said toxicants and toxins. What's the difference there?
Yeah. So technically toxicants are toxins. I mean, just to explain it to you guys, that come from the outside world. And so like BPA lining our canned foods, PFAs, heavy metals, those are technically called toxicants. But then there's toxins, which are kind of metabolically derived within the body. So for example, there's a form of estrogen that we are supposed to detox every day when we go to the bathroom. for people that are constipated, that's why one of the worries is like estrogen dominance. And that type of estrogen tends to be the type of estrogen that can promote breast cancer. And those genes turn on and off those genes. So there's metabolites that the body makes as it kind of goes through its natural detoxification pathways that the body doesn't want to keep. That's why we sweat. That's why we pee. That's why we go to the bathroom, because your body knows it needs to get rid of things. And so there's a difference between outside and inside, but essentially, yeah, it's like the level 2, we want to help make sure your body gets rid of the toxicants it's been exposed to because they're higher than ever. And yes, we could go down that rabbit hole and I'll be really sad and it's awful and it's really serious, but also it's the world we live in. And so we can all do our best, but there is not a molecule or bacteria or virus all the way to large animal that has not been exposed to many, many toxicants in our environment. There's no escaping it. And then, our toxins, we're living in a high stress world. It's very different than kind of what our biology was, originally made to do. And so there's toxins that our body's making that are new too, or kind of like, we're not letting them go
at these levels.
That we used to.
Right.
Exactly. And so when we think about cleansing and detoxing, it's just helping our bodies. It's like when I think about my home, yeah, I'm going to try and get the cleaner mattress. I'm going to clean with, ozone instead of bleach. I'm going to choose things. I'm going to make some choices that just make it a little bit better. There's no such thing as a perfectly clean home. There's no such thing as a perfectly clean body. But I think sometimes I hear people get overwhelmed all the time of like, whatever, it doesn't matter that much. Like, and I understand because I'm deep in this world, but there are other places in my life where I'm like, for instance, this is a good one, my clothing. I try and do, a lot of like ethically sourced clothing, but I have a lot of workout gear that is basically made out of plastic. There is a whole world behind that. Really big experts on what to do, what not to wear. I can't go down that rabbit hole. So I just try and do the best. And so that's kind of what like level 2 is made for. It's like, you don't have to be a nutrition expert. You don't have to be an expert. We designed this to really just so you can, for those 5 days, really clean out your body, give it what it needs so that when you get back to kind of your normal daily life, your body and your cells are that much more prepared.
One question we often get is, can I drink coffee while I'm detoxing, while I'm on level 2? And the answer is yes and no. It depends on what you want to get out of this and how far do you want to go. If it means that you can't commit to doing our level 2 detox and do it because you need to have that coffee to get you through the day, then okay, fine. It's better to do it part way than not at all. But once you do that, and if you can go all the way, go all the way. Because like you're talking about, our world is filled with toxins and it overburdens the liver. And caffeine that's found in coffee, and especially if you're not getting organic coffee, it's sprayed with glyphosate and lots of different pesticides, herbicides, then that is something that your liver has to detox as well. And so if you can just remove that one thing that you're doing on a regular basis and try and give your liver just a little bit more of a break while you're doing this, you might get better results, the results that you're looking for. And it's only 5 days. So my recommendation is, if you can, just put it down. It's just 5 days. You'll be surprised how you feel after the first 3 days. Actually, even the first day. Day 1 is rough if you haven't given up caffeine in advance. I usually like to tell people if they can give it up before they start the detox, that's actually a lot easier, like the weekend before going into it. But if not, give it a try. Make sure you're hydrating a lot and going to sleep early. But you'll be surprised how much energy you have even without the coffee as you work your way through the days on the detox.
Yeah, well, I don't think most people really have coffee for energy anymore. I think it's honestly just a habit. Because the
Well,
more you have coffee, the less you feel the effects of coffee. As someone who drinks coffee every day. But I agree. I think like my motto is choose your heart. So let's like it might feel hard to not do coffee for a week. And if it's that hard for you, then okay. But it's probably something you're going to have to assess. If it's that hard for you to give it up for 5 days, you're going to have to assess it at some point. If today's not the day for you, okay, but choose your heart because it's probably just going to be harder later.
yeah, definitely. And that's something I love with our new level two detox is that we know the different points throughout your day that are challenging, and we give you something to help you with those challenging moments. So in the morning, you have this amazing morning beverage that's made with fig and burdock root. So it's going to help stimulate your gastric juices, your hydrochloric acid, your liver, like get everything going. And it's a great coffee replacement. So if you're used to more like that ritual, that habit of just having something, waking up and having that warm morning beverage, hopefully this will hit the spot for you. And then equally at night. So if you're used to kind of having something at night before you go to bed after dinner, whether that's a piece of chocolate or a little nightcap, we give you this amazing evening beverage with chamomile, and it's really lovely. It's lightly sweetened with just a touch of honey, and it just hits that spot if you're looking for something after dinner. So kind of replacing those habits that you may already have with a new, healthier habit that is actually doing something for your body, something beneficial and supporting you through the detox process.
I mean, I will say I notice a change in my skin doing level 2. Like it's like I feel like I get like that Sakara glow even more. And I feel like I notice like a tightness in my skin. And maybe that's just from not being so inflamed, you know?
Yeah. Oh, I forgot I was going to tell you the story of when I hosted a Sakara Spirit Circle with a number of clients. I think it was around 10 clients, and they spanned ages. You know, there were women in their 20s. There were, they were going through body image, just kind of discovery mode, and women in their 30s who were talking about fertility and getting pregnant, women that were pregnant, women who had had miscarriages, then women who were in perimenopause. And it was interesting to see what they were all saying. The woman in perimenopause feeling like she didn't know what was going on with her body and she didn't feel like herself. And then a woman who had gone through menopause saying, honey, it's okay, it gets better. But one of the women who was in perimenopause, close to finishing up with her menopause, she had just come off of our level 2 detox. And she said it was the first time that she felt like herself in a long time, that it had really boosted her energy. It helped her feel more like herself in her body again. It helped slim her down a bit, even just in those 5 days. But again, I think it was inflammation her body was holding on to. Helped her with her hormones and with those menopause symptoms. So, it really is amazing what 5 days can do.
Well, and even think about, we can talk about kind of like the detox pathways, like, making sure you're staying regular, drinking enough water, liver detoxification, but your cells are really detoxing all the time. Your lymphatic system, there's so much of your body that needs to work properly by getting the right nutrients and getting rid of the things it no longer needs. And so when you're talking about, thinning out because, you're less inflamed, like that's a big one. So when I talk about the impact of stress, whether it's psychological stress, you're late, you're in traffic, or all the way, to like emotional, like psycho-spiritual stress of like, why am I here? What am I doing? And you don't have a purpose, all the way, to having kids and it's like right in front of you stress. All those things matter so much. And when you're under that kind of stress, whether it's cellular stress because you've been exposed to toxins or the emotional stress we just talked about, like your body has to deal with that before it can do what it wants to do to like repair, to rejuvenate, to even do like the normal daily functions that it needs to do on a daily basis to be a healthy body. And so, when you're talking about you go to the dentist to get the cleaning, once a quarter, you get a facial twice a year, like those moments are important because not only are they helping your body kind of do its normal detoxification pathways, it's also taking away like the stressors, the normal day stressors, which you can have. So when you do level 2, we're asking you to slow down. We're asking you to take those normal stressors out, And then we're giving you as much of it as we can in terms of food. Like you don't have to worry about what to eat. You don't have to think about, what to do for yourself that day. It's all planned out for you and it's all right there. And I think that goes so far. And that's how, when I talk about, it doesn't just have an impact on you in those 5 days. When we lower our stress, even for moments, much less 5 days, it has long lasting impact on our metabolic health.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we really designed level 2 as the next level in what it means to nourish yourself, to take care of yourself, to heal the gut, to really help the body do what it was meant to do. So it's a whole food system, meaning it's 5 days of real food made by loving hands, sourced from organic farms all over the country and all over the world, all put in a package that is so delicious and so good, because for so long I thought that detoxes and cleanses were supposed to be torturous and gross and not taste good. And as Whitney said earlier in this conversation, it really is not only designed to work, but designed to bring you joy and to be fun and something that you want to do, not something that you're putting on the bottom of your to-do list. So you can look forward to participating in this detox. You can look forward to the 5 days, but also you can look forward to the results of what it looks like and feels like to come home to yourself, to lower inflammation, to take care of the gut, to lower bloating, to get that kind of cognitive boost that you've probably been looking for. I just texted Whitney the other day that I was ready for a cognitive boost. So it might be my time to do level 2.
One of my favorite aspects of level 2 is how everything is so thoughtful, so intentional. Every single ingredient that goes into it is there to do something for you and for your body. Every component of it is there just perfectly timed to support you in those moments when you need it, when your body needs it. And that I can just trust it. And it takes that thinking away from, what am I going to eat today? Is this good for me? Is this right for me? And I just can follow the program and really feel the results. This is a super impactful program that, yes, it challenges you, which, helps turn on those parts of your brain that keep you young when you're feeling challenged too. So I like that aspect of it as well. But just how great I feel after, it makes me look forward to the next time that I'm going to do our level 2, Sakara level 2 detox program. So I'm excited. If you haven't tried it yet, I encourage you to give it a try. And when you do, please reach out to us and let us know how you're enjoying it, how it is for you. If you have, any moments where you're not sure if you're going to make it through, send us a message and we will cheer you on as well, because this is so good for you. You're going to feel absolutely amazing. You can do this, and we're here with you to do it too.
And for those of you who are listening who have done it before, you should know that this program has been updated and it does contain new meals, some new beverages, and it's really that much more joyful. So even if you've done it before, maybe it's time to try out the new one.
Yeah, here's your sign to get back on it and try our new and improved level 2 detox.